the precious liquid formed from decomposed microscopic organisms millions of years ago has become an essential part of our everyday lives. It is so valuable that when the first oil boom occurred, prospectors often called it black gold. Today, the immense amount of energy stored within the molecular bonds of petroleum fuels our cars and our airplanes, is the base for necessary synthetic materials, and makes up the roads we depend on to live our lives. Every day, the U.S. imports 10.1 billion barrels, while producing 9.8 million barrels. Before it can be used, however, this huge quantity of oil needs to be transported to refineries and processing plants by one of three methods: train, truck, or pipeline. Each way is imperfect, but pipelines have become increasingly notorious due to the construction of one example that has been widely covered by the media: the Dakota Access Pipeline. Supporters tout predicted economic benefits of its construction, but are heavily opposed by claims of environmental threats and disrespect toward Native American cultures and rights. This film will delve into both sides of the argument to explain the controversy behind the Dakota Access Pipeline. On March 11, 2016, the Dakota Access Limited Liability Company received approval from the Iowa Utilities Board. The fourth and final state board needed to allow the company to progress with the construction of the 1,200-mile-long Dakota Access Pipeline. Originally, the planned route passed near the water supply of the city of Bismarck, the capital of North Dakota that is home to 67,034 residents. However, the pipeline was deemed to pose too much of a threat and was moved without a single protest by the Bismarck residents. The new route passed through the water supplies of a Native American reservation in Standing Rock, the fifth largest Native American reservation in the United States, home to 8,217 members of the Lakota Sioux ethnic group. This ignited controversy almost immediately for several important reasons. First to come into play is the cultural significance that the land holds to the people of Standing Rock. For the Sioux Nation, religion is an integral part of daily life. The Sioux worldview, like that of a number of other indigenous peoples, embraces shamanism, animism, and polytheism. Although the U.S. government attempted to ban the Sioux religious practices during the 1800s, many 21st century Sioux still believe in the tribe's traditional spirituality and have reinstated some of its previously controversial dance ceremonies. The Sioux Native Americans live in harmony with the land, which is emphasized by their culture, religion, and beliefs. The notion of a religion system is more applicable to Western ideology and Christian missionaries' efforts to understand a spiritual philosophy different from their own than it is to the beliefs of the Lakota. For the Lakota, religion is not compartmentalized into a separate category. More appropriately, Lakota traditions can be characterized as a system of spirituality that is fully integrated into a rhythm of life that includes all aspects and patterns of the universe. At the center of this rhythm is Wakantan, sometimes translated as grandfather, and often as great spirit or great mystery, but this is better left untranslated. Kanupa Wakan, the sacred pipe, and the subsequent smoke carries messages from humans to Wakantaka. Their system is based on respect and emphasizes that the virtues or values of bravery, fortitude, wisdom, and generosity are to be followed and perpetuated. The idea of an individual person having exclusive use of a particular piece of land was completely alien to Native Americans. The Sioux fought as communities with other tribes over hunting rights to their territory, but the right to the land was very different from the legal terms understood by the white settlers relating to individual ownership. Hesapa, sometimes known as Pahasapa, is land considered sacred by the Lakota and other Plains tribes. It is known as Wamaka Ognaka Ikante, the heart of everything that is. The Sioux Indians had no concept of private property, as applied to the land, but were soon to experience this European idea through the constant encroachment on the tribal territories in Sioux land. Throughout history, settlers and capitalists have continued to push Native Americans out of their ancestral lands, given little legal protection and assistance by the federal government. Now, we have another instance in which concern and respect for indigenous culture are brushed aside, but continuing forward, we need to be aware of the religious and cultural importance of the land to the Sioux tribe as pipeline routes are made. Along with the religious importance of the land to the Sioux lie the problems the pipeline may pose to the environment. This problem is manifested in the form of oil spills. Just a few months ago, on December 5, 2016, about 176,000 gallons of oil were spilled by a leak in the Bell Forge pipeline, flowing into the nearby Ash Coulee Creek. This incident is by no means a one-time occurrence. Since 2006, 36 other spills by this company alone have been reported by the Associated Press, not accounting for a large number of other spills that are caused by leaks in other oil pipelines. The implications of this are dramatic. Between 2010 and 2015, $2.8 billion in damage was caused by crude oil and natural gas ruptures and leaks. It is important to note that these statistics do not necessarily guarantee an oil spill will occur along the Dakota Access Pipeline, but instead demonstrate the real possibility of such an event occurring. In fact, as previously mentioned, the original route of the pipeline was revised because authorities decided that the presence of the pipeline so near to Bismarck, North Dakota, posed too much of a threat to the drinking supply of the capital city. Instead, it was moved right through the Standing Rock Sioux Reservation's water supply, where a just as large, if not larger, risk is present to the drinking supply of the Standing Rock tribe and the other tribes along river banks that are fed by the nearby tributary rivers. Protesters continue to fight to prove that the Standing Rock Sioux and their water supply is just as important as that of residents of Bismarck. However, it appears that the Dakota Access Limited Liability Company exhibited racial preference by the routing of the pipeline. This clearly is not fair to the Sioux tribe, so the potential for catastrophic oil spills must continue to be considered to protect the Sioux and their environment. Despite the environmental hazards posed by the construction of the pipeline, proponents continue to praise the economic benefits that the completed pipeline would provide. Estimates claim over 8,000 new jobs would be supported. Local economies are also estimated to receive $50 million annually to property and income taxes from the construction of the pipeline. And most importantly of all, the pipeline is expected to help foster energy independence in the United States. Although these benefits do exist to a certain degree, bias exists very heavily in the way these statistics are presented, so the long-term results must be examined. Already, the pipeline is in its final stages, and according to Energy Transfer executives, 45 to 75 days of construction remain. Once it is completed, the pipeline will support only 40 to 50 permanent jobs along the entire length of the pipeline. Because of this, the claim that the pipeline will dramatically improve employment does not add up. The second claim made by the proponents of the pipeline is that the amount of revenue expected to be made for local governments by the completion of the pipeline will increase. However, once the $55 million annually are split among the 4 states expecting to benefit from the construction of the pipeline, the scope of this money is dramatically decreased to a meager $13 million annually for each state. The final major claim made by proponents is that the pipeline would increase energy independence of the United States. According to proponents, the pipeline will increase energy independence by increasing production of oil. However, the only thing that can increase production is if global demand for crude oil increases. This does not work the other way around. This also means that environmental concerns based on increased carbon emissions would not necessarily be realized because the production would not be increasing in the ways proponents suggest. Only one group is left who will truly benefit the most from the construction of the pipeline: the company itself and its investors. It is estimated to bring about $1.37 billion annually in profits, benefiting not only the company, but also its many investors, which at one point included President Donald Trump. He did sell his shares he held in the several companies associated with the Dakota Access Pipeline over the summer, but other investors still stand to profit, such as Kelsey Warren, Energy Transfer's CEO, who notably made significant campaign contributions to Trump. Because of this, by reapproving the Dakota Access Pipeline, big business can continue to make a large profit, as well as politicians who can expect big returns in the form of campaign contributions. So, as the Dakota Access Pipeline continues to be debated, the truth of the scope of the benefits and who exactly stands to profit must be kept in mind. At this point in time, the Dakota Access Pipeline is nearing completion. The public, however, still needs to be aware of the damage the pipeline could produce and the extent of the benefit of its construction. But the public also needs to be aware of the larger issues revealed by this controversy. Our country continues to remain divided, with large corporations and the wealthy seeking to profit at the expense of the marginalized and the voiceless, like the Sioux of Standing Rock. How far will we, the citizens of the United States, allow this to continue in our country? Will we remain seated, pawns in the grand scheme of big corporations, or will we unite to protect and ensure each and every person's right to pursue their dreams?